The other day, I overheard a conversation between two young people, and they were talking about religions and with everything that's happening in the world right now, and why Norse paganism was better. And then they started talking about different things in Norse paganism that was better than Christianity and Islam and all of those religions out there, the monotheistic religions. And they started saying the most peculiar things. So I asked them, where did you get that information? Where did you hear that or read that? And they showed me on their phones with this. In this modern day and age, people go to YouTube and obviously TikTok to get their information instead of actually reading books and going out in nature and learning stuff. So I thought we could take a look at these TikToks that people are watching today. And I know I sound like an old geezer when I say this, but I am an old geezer. I don't try to hide that fact. This is totally new to me, so let's see what people hear on TikTok. That could be interesting and fun, right? And I have learned that there could be copyrighted music and stuff on this app, so I will of course mute those. So bear with the clips and all of that. But let's go. Let's take that away. And here we have TikTok. And yeah, this language here that seems weird to some people, that's Swedish. So yeah, I haven't changed those settings. I actually have no idea how to do that, but never mind. This is the first one, and this has audio. Let's see what it says. Why do you choose Norse gods over Christianity? Choose. Worship me, says Jesus, I guess. You're part of me, worship yourself. Okay. Pray to me, I will never answer. He never said that we should pray to him. I'm just going to pause there. Jesus never says in the Bible or the biblical stories that we should pray to him. I have read a lot of Bibles and I have done a lot of Bible studies, and I have never come across anywhere where Jesus says, pray to me. No. I am always with you, guiding you and answering you, my child, says Fenris. Let's go back. I'm always with you, guiding you. That's supposed to be, you see they have the chain there? That's Fenrir. He is not always with you. Never. And he is not answering you either. What? God is good, I do no wrongs. Yeah, he says that, yeah. I admit my faults as you must admit yours. That's actually true. Standing up to who you are, what you've done, that's a big part of it. Sinner, sinner, all you do is sin. Yeah, that's true. I understand you're only human, we make mistakes, but we must work to do better. And who's that supposed to be? Is that Fenris too? I understand you're only human, we make mistakes, but we must work to do... Yeah, basic life sense. And again, Fenris. And of course, yeah, you had to end with that, didn't you? Well, not only did this guy get Christianity wrong? He has Norse paganism all wrong too. So if this is the kind of things you're watching on TikTok, please do better. Go Joe Swole, do better. Okay, that's the first one. Ready for the next one?
Wait, so there's a Norse word for karma? Yeah, so if you're a Norse practitioner, you no longer have to appropriate that word. What? The word karma comes from a completely different culture, and you are a Norse practitioner. I see. Yeah. So what's the word? Urður. That sounds like a mouthful. I didn't say it wasn't. So it means the same thing? Well, similar. It's a different culture, so it's a different concept. Makes sense. So what's the concept? Urður is both a Norn and a concept of fate. A Norn. There's 3 Norns. Urður, Verdani, and Skuld. Urður is also known as Wyrd, where our concept of weird comes from, which also means fate. Yeah, and in the knot of weird, you can find all of the runes. And practicing magic with that, the knot of weird, can change fate. Yeah, there's more, but wait, so there's a Norse word for
The crap? What? The Norse word for karma? No, it's not a Norse word for karma.
Karma? Yeah, so if you're a Norse practitioner, you no longer have to appropriate
You can
that word.
absolutely use that word.
The word karma comes from a completely different culture, and
yeah, it comes from the Indian culture, if I'm not mistaken.
You are a Norse practitioner. I see. Yeah. So what's the word? Urður. That sounds like a mouthful. I didn't say it wasn't. So it means the same thing? Well, similar. It's a different culture, so...
No. It's a different culture, so it's a different concept. Yes, indeed, a very different concept. Urd does not mean karma. It does not mean fate. It's a really complicated word to describe and translate, actually. Urd is more... It's more of a... It's more related to the word actually. And it's more related to a concept of... This is where it gets weird. The underground, the underworld. A very long and complicated way underground, also meaning from back in time. So Urd is more connected to how things have become from maybe a word, and how that word then travels to become something. Like, for example, if you say something about someone, you say that guy is weird, for example, then the one you say that to, or someone who overheard that, spreads that and adds to it. And this goes on and on from person to person, from mouth to ear, and in the end, this guy gets treated bad in some way because he's basically stupid and a moron. Because everyone knows that, because everyone says that. And this is how the word travels through time and becomes something. And the same goes with history. If we see this from a longer perspective, what people in the Stone Age did, what they constructed and how they lived, that became something together with the Bronze Age people and how they lived, what they said and constructed and all that. That in turn became something new in the Iron Age, and so on, until we have what we have now. And this is the path of the becoming of things from other things. And that is not the same thing as karma. Karma is something else. It's not this... it's not the becoming of everything. Urd is more of the becoming of everything that is from everything that was. So basically everything is connected in ways that could be very difficult to understand. That's more what Urd is. So no, Urd is not the same thing as karma. I know that Urskuld and Vedandi are the three Norns in the Eddic, or what's it called? The Eddic poems. And these three Norns are very often connected and associated with the Greek, the fates. But the Greek fates are the past, the present, and the future. And the Norns, the three Norns by the Urdabrunn, by the root of Yggdrasil, it's not the past, the present, and the future in the same tense. This is very complicated, so I will not go into this in this video because we're looking at TikToks now and not explaining everything at once. But we often use the three Norns in the Eddic poem, Völuspá, I think, or Havamala, I don't remember. We use them in the same way as the Greek fates from the past, the present, and the future, but that's not what they are. And yeah, I do that too. I do this exact same thing sometimes when I'm not really thinking, but they are not the same thing. Vedandi is more like the everything being. Urd is more how everything has become. And Skuld is more, well, basically future, or the result, or yeah, the result of what has become. It's not really the same as the past, present, and future, but it's connected in some way, I guess. But Urd is definitely not karma.
It's a different concept. Makes sense. So what's the concept? Urður is both a Norn and a concept of fate.
Yeah, Urður is Urður. I'm saying it the same way. Urd is the name of a Norn. Urd is not a Norn. It's the name of a Norn. And it's not fate. And there are three Norns. No. Oh. Why do you do this to me? There are lots of Norns. A Norn is a title of a person. There are a lot more than three Norns. There are three Norns mentioned in the Edda. In this specific poem, there are three Norns with these three names, living by the root of Yggdrasil, by the Urdabrunn, the well of the Urd. But these are the three Norns mentioned in the text. These are not only the three only Norns. We have been through this before, I know that. But there are not three Norns, there are lots of Norns.
Urður, Verdani, and Skuld. Urður is also known
and it's
as
not
weird,
Verdani, it's
where our concept of
Verdandi.
weird comes from, which also means fate.
No, it does
Yeah,
not mean
and
fate.
in the knot of weird, you can find all of the runes.
Not exactly true either. Weird and Urd are related way, 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 way back. But they are not the same word. They sound like the same, maybe, but they're not the same word. As I said, Urd is more connected to the word. And weird is more connected to the original word weird. And this concept of weird is more something unexpected. Some kind of surprise, something unexpected. That's basically what weird is. Something you didn't see coming, something you were surprised by. And that's not the same as Urd, which, as I said, is more connected to word. So, no, it's not the same.
And practicing magic
weird,
with that, the knot of weird, can
magic.
change fate. Yeah, there's more, but wait, so there's a Norse.
Okay, let's stop there. I can't take more of this. Let's go to the next one. So what do we have here? It had music on it, so I choose to be Norse pagan. Because the Norse gods accepted all of me. Accepted my light. What? I don't see anything specifically Norse in this video. This is more what I will call Wicca or witchcraft. Lots of black stuff, candles. And of course, he has a robe. There's an apple. What is Norse about this? The horse. I don't really get this. First of all, choose. Why do you choose? I hear some people talk about religions as if you go into a store, so you go into a candy store and take a bag and pick and choose what you want. So I want this from this religion, I want that from that religion, and so now I am this religion, which I have decided contains all of the pieces I put in my bag. But I don't really see this. I see a lot of things about choosing religion, but isn't that something you're supposed to be called to more than pick and choose? Like, use religions like you use clothes. Today I want to be Hindi. Today I want to be Muslim. And today I want to be a Jew. And no, I decided I want to be pagan. What kind of pagan should I be? Should I be Greek pagan or Roman pagan, or should I be Norse pagan? Yeah, that sounds cool. Vikings and all that stuff. Cool stuff. I want to be Norse pagan. Let's find the biggest hammer I can find and grow a beard and long hair and go around shouting and screaming and carving runes into stuff. That's basically what I see on all kinds of social media. That's so ridiculous. And just take a look at this picture. What in this picture is connected to Norse paganism? If you see anything, write it in the comments, because I don't see anything. There's nothing Norse about this. Nothing. This looks more like the goth version of witchcraft. And the Norse gods accepted you. They don't care about you, basically. You can be whatever you want, they don't care. It's none of their business what you do or what you believe. You are... I'm sorry to say this, but you're mixing too much of Christianity into your paganism beliefs. I'm pretty sick of seeing that, actually, because it's nonsense. The gods don't care that much about you. This is in the religions of Abraham. The Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Their God cares what they do and what they say and how they live. That's their gods. Don't bring them into this, because he has nothing to do with this. So that was BS. Let's go to the next one.
Did you know if you practice Norse paganism, you have something similar to a Patronus from Harry Potter? Well, kinda. Let's talk about it. So in Norse paganism, we believe in a multi-part soul. Now, the amount of parts to the soul varies on who you ask and what you read, but typically there's around 4 parts, and one of these parts is called your fylgja. Now, fylgja is an Icelandic word that, among other things, means follow or to follow. Now, it is said that your fylgja is a feminine guiding spirit that usually takes the form of an animal, but can sometimes be humanoid. It is said your fylgja can appear in dreams or can be seen by people with second sight. Now, the well-being of the fylgja is often directly tied to the well-being of its owner. For example, if your fylgja dies, you die too. Now, some believe the form and character of your fylgja is often connected to who you are. For example, if you're a noble, good person, you might get a bear. If you're a gluttonous, rude person, you might get a pig. While others believe your fylgja's character and form are given at birth and are an intrinsic part of your soul's topography. But in conclusion, please note that there was some UPG and SPG in this video, and
Okay. Not the first time I heard this.
Did you know if you practice Norse paganism, you have something similar to a Patronus from Harry?
No. You don't have a Patronus from Harry Potter. Not even something like a Patronus from Harry Potter. If you practice Norse paganism, what do you mean if you practice Norse paganism? Well, is that back in the candy store from where I was before? When you choose today that I'm going to be a Norse pagan today, and suddenly you get a Patronus. What? And if you stop being a Norse pagan, what happens to that Patronus then? If you decide to convert to Islam, what happens to your Patronus then? Does it go away and hide?
Harry Potter? Well, kinda.
Well,
Let's talk about it.
Not kinda.
So in Norse paganism, we believe in a multi-part soul. Now, the amount of parts...
I have heard this many times. Many people talk about this multi-part soul. I don't know what that is. You have one soul. That's what you have.
to the soul varies on who you ask and what you read, but typically there's around 4 parts. And one of these parts is called your fylgja.
No. One of those parts is not called your fylgja, because your fylgja is not a part of your soul. Your fylgja is not a part of you at all, except maybe it could be a part of your destiny or your ancestry. And your destiny is a part of you, and your ancestry is also you are a part of your ancestry, and vice versa. But this is a huge misconception of what a fylgja is. And it says that fylgja means something like follower, and yeah, that's true. It is a follower. You can see this as Christians sometimes talks about having a guardian angel. That's more like what a fylgja is. Your fylgja could be anything. It could be, I don't like to use the word, but spirit animal, if you want to use that word. There's no such thing as spirit animals, but it's an animal spirit more. Like an animal spirit and a spirit animal is not really the same thing. It could be an animal, and it could be a relative from your past. Or it could be someone you have had very close interactions with in your past. And then I mean way back past, not from a couple of weeks ago, but maybe far back in your bloodline. It's not a part of your soul. Your soul is your soul, and that's you. And your soul is mostly inside you, and not chopped up in 4 parts, of which one of those parts follows you around in the shape of a pig. That's just weird.
Now, fylgja is an Icelandic word that, among other things,
Icelandic
means
word is a Norse
follow
word.
or to follow. Now, it is said that your fylgja is a feminine guiding spirit.
Try to understand that the Icelandic language is very closely related to the Old Norse language. Icelandic is not Old Norse. It's very, very closely related to Old Norse, yes. It's more Old Norwegian, I would say. So, as well as Faroese is Old Danish or Old Dane tongue. But they are not Old Norse, they are Icelandic and Faroese. So, just saying this is an Icelandic word is not really true. Maybe it is. And it has roots deeper than that. But try to understand the difference between Old Norse and Icelandic. Icelandic is not Old Norse, Icelandic is Icelandic. Please, try.
That usually takes the form of an animal, but can sometimes be humanoid. What is said, your fylgja can appear in dreams, or can be seen by people with second sight.
True and not true. It can be seen by some people. Some people can see their fylgja if they have one, which not everyone has. You didn't mention that, but not everyone has one. Some people can see them. Some people can see other people's fylgjas if they have one. And it can be an animal and it can be humanoid, as he says. Yeah, let's not go into that. You don't have to have second sight for this. They mostly are visible when they need to be, and they are visible on purpose. So, but if you have what you call second sight, you can see a lot of things, and also fylgjas, of course.
Now, the well-being of the fylgja is often directly tied to the well-being of its owner.
No.
For example, if your fylgja dies,
your fylgja doesn't die. It can't die. It can leave you, but it doesn't die. And if your fylgja leaves you, you don't die. You just don't get any help from that fylgja anymore. The fylgja's role is more to guide you in some ways. And this is not in a concrete way, but making you notice things that you might not have noticed otherwise. Directing your attention to things. And the fylgja's role is more taking care of your soul more than you as a person. That is a complicated concept to get into. But your fylgja doesn't die. It can leave you and come back, and it can leave you and not come back. But a fylgja doesn't die. I don't know where you got that from.
You die too. Now, some believe the form and character of your fylgja is often connected to who you are. For example, if you're a noble, good person, you might get a bear. If you're a gluttonous, rude person, you might get a pig. While others believe your fylgja's character and form.
Yeah, you can get a... You can't choose what kind of fylgja you have. You can't... You can't choose. You can't decide, I want a wolf fylgja. That's cool. So I'm going to be this kind of person. That's not how it works. You have what you have, and you get what you get. And that is what you have, and you can't change it. Because you are you, no matter what you do. If you try to change, well, if you do drastic changes to how you consider everything around you and your own part of the world that you live in, yes, maybe this can change, but probably not, because you have what you have, and it's not important. You are not a better person if you have a bear or a wolf or a cool animal. If you have a deer or a pig or a cat or whatever, it is what it is. And you have what you have for a reason. So I'm not sure that what kind of fylgja you have depends on what kind of person you are. Your fylgja is more connected to your past and to your soul's past. So it is what it is. So I'm not sure that what kind of person you are now decides what kind of fylgja you have. Because it is what it is, and you have what you have, and it's based on your soul's past, not your past. That's difficult, as very much in this way of life is very difficult. That's why you can't go to TikTok to learn about it, which is what I'm trying to show here.
Are given at birth and are an intrinsic part of your soul's topography. But in conclusion,
you're not given a fylgja at birth. It's there or it's not there. It may be with you from when you're born, and it may come later in life, or it may not come at all. It depends on if you need it. If you need one, if you need a, what you would call a spirit guide, then you get one. If you don't need one, then you don't have one. It's pretty simple. So yeah, you don't get one. It's not someone sitting somewhere deciding, oh, this child should have a fylgja. You there, Mr. Pig, you should follow this person around and give him advice, so he can be a better person. Oh, he's a glutton. Oh, the pig suits him well. Kind of reality do you live in? So that's not what a fylgja is, and that's not how it works. So let's go to the next one. So what's this? The first humans in Norse mythology.
I'm going to tell you about the first two humans in Norse mythology. So I'm sure you've heard of Adam and Eve from the Bible. The first two humans. Well, in Norse mythology it was Ask and Embla. Ask and Embla were made of driftwood. However, the story of their creation was very interesting. Not long after the creation of the 9 realms, Odin was walking along the coast of one of the giant pieces of land that he made, along with 2 other gods. In one version, it's with his brothers, Vili and Vi. And in another version, it's Honja and Loda, kind of obscure gods. The gods found 2 tree trunks laying beside the water. most likely driftwood, and they were shaped like a man and a woman, but completely lifeless and powerless. So Odin and the other two gods decided to give them what they lacked and make them human. This is where it gets interesting. You know how in the Bible God blew the breath of life into Adam? Well, in Norse mythology, Odin blows the breath of life into Ask and Embla. And the other gods gave them the ability to hear, see, and speak, and a healthy complexion. They were more focused on the mental aspect of these humans. They named the man Ask, and the woman Embla.
I'm gonna stop him right there, and so far, what it's saying is basically what's in the Edda, yeah. They didn't name them Ask and Embla. Ask means ash tree, and Embla, I have heard a translation, I'm not sure of this, but I've heard that it means a small birch. So ash tree and birch tree were the pieces of wood that they made these humans from. So they didn't name them anything.
And they were given Midgard.
They were not given anything. This is one of the creation myths that many people want to connect to the Christian creation myth, where God makes Adam, and from Adam he makes Eve to look like himself, but not really, and so on. In the Norse version of this creation, I'm not really sure that this is actually originally from Norse. It could be influenced from other places, but they do not create humans for the same reason and purpose as in the Christian mythology. Because Odin and his brothers walk along the beach and they see two pieces of wood that looks almost like people, or basically like themselves maybe. And they just get the idea to breathe life into them and make them alive. And when they have done this, they walk away. And that's it. They did not create humans to worship them or to give them Midgard, or they just created them because they could, basically. And that's it. There you go. So it's not like the Christian version, where a god creates humans to worship him and gives them a place to live in, which he then takes away from them, and for their one mistake in obedience makes a mistake, and thereafter forever all humans are punished with the original sin. It's not like that. Odin and some of his pals made everything, and when he saw these tree trunks, he made them come alive. And then he walked away and didn't care much about it anymore. So the two stories differ a bit, and they didn't give them names. They, like I said, they're called Askur, and Askur means ash tree, and the tree trunk that he blew life into was ash tree, so that's what it was. And the other one, the birch tree, was called birch, and that's what it was. So they didn't give them a name at all, and they definitely did not give humans Midgard or Middle Earth or what you want to call it. So that's not really the same. And this is one of the things in the Edda that I'm not really sure actually belongs in the Norse myth. But maybe it does. But if they did this once, just walking along, watching what they have created, and then created some more, maybe they continued to create some more. Who knows? It doesn't say anything about that. But then on the other hand, none of the Eddas are Bibles. They are not creation myths, and they are not rule books to guide humans into living the way the gods wanted us to live, so that we can be awarded an eternal afterlife in some paradise world. That's not what the Eddas are. So you can compare the biblical mythology with Norse mythology. So that's a bit confusing.
Land of the humans. And in Norse mythology, they would be the parents of all living beings on Earth. Now here's a fun fact.
Does it really say that Asken Embla was given, or they mass reproduced to make humankinds? I'm not sure that it says that. It's a long time since I read it, of course, but what if they continued to blow life into tree trunks and stones and other things? Doesn't say. So we don't know. And as I said, it's not the Edda. None of the Eddas are comparable to the Abrahamic creation mythology. So I don't think you should put too much into that.
A lot of kennings in Norse literature, humans and trees are comparative. Pretty much.
Humans and trees, I don't know about, but gods and trees, that's another story. I'm not sure I know much about humans compared to trees. But most of the gods, not all the gods, but most of the gods, or some of the gods, should be honest to say that, have their specific tree. And that's another story for another episode. So I don't know where he got that.
Having a really strong association to each other. Don't forget the like, comment, favorite.
Yeah, like, comment. Sure, go to this guy's page and do that if you want to. That's okay. I don't care. All of these videos I find here, I just went into TikTok and I typed Norse and searched, and this is what I got. So you can find all of these by doing that too, if you want to. That's okay. There's a lot of nonsense I'm just not watching. Plus you get a ton of videos from Norse Airlines, and that's not really interesting, is it? So I'm skipping a ton of videos because it's so ridiculous. So yeah, creation myth. Lesson 1, the Eddas are not the Bible. I know that some people think that the Eddas are to be viewed as a Norse Bible of some kind, but it's not. It's not. Don't do that. It's not a Bible. We don't have a Bible. The gods didn't declare how we should live or what we should do to get into some heaven realm or something, how we should behave, and they didn't make laws for us and none of that, which is basically what the Bible is. And the Bible is both the New and the Old Testament, of course, as the Quran. It's not the same. The Eddas are the Eddas, not Bibles. They're not rule books. They have advice for us that we could need, that could be good for us to follow or heed or something, listen to, but they are not rules, they are not laws. So, and there are things in especially Snorri's, I'm saying this in a horrific English way, Snorre, he may have added stuff into his Edda. Just want to say that. Not because he was a Christian, but for other reasons that we will go into in another episode, if we ever come to that. I'm not sure about this one, though. It's an interesting topic. We could go into it some other time. But for now, he was not wrong, but he wasn't right all the time. Let's go to the next one. This guy again. What does he have to say now?
If you're a fan of Norse mythology and you want to learn more about the stories and myths, then stick around because we're talking about Jotunheim, World of the Giants. Jotunheim, or Old Norse Jotunheimr, literally means World of the Giants.
No, it means home of the giants, home of the Jotnar. That's what it means. Jotun and giant isn't necessarily the same thing.
And is one of the 9 worlds in Norse mythology. In fact, there's a famous giant that lives with the Aesir gods.
There are a lot of famous Jotnar living with the gods.
You know who that is? Let me know in the comments. Answer at the end of the video. Now, Jotunheim is also known as Utgard. Utgard meaning beyond the fence. In those days, beyond the fence or Utgard meant the chaos.
I'm not sure that it means beyond the fence. It means outside. Where do you get a fence from? Utgård is outside of Asgård. That's what it means. Asgård is the place where the gods, the Aesir, live, and they built a giant fence around it to protect them from other things that lived outside the fence. And the giants, or the Jotnar, live outside of Asgård. It's not the same, though.
Chaotic wilderness. Pretty much the lawless and chaotic side of everything. And did you know that the word wilderness actually
That's
comes...
not really true. This thing about the gods being the law and everything outside being chaos. When chaos isn't really what it is, it's just not controlled by the Aesir. That's a difference. Wilderness.
the Germanic language, meaning the place of self-willed beasts. Now that's pretty wild. Now here's something pretty cool. Asgard is known as being in the sky. Midgard
Asgard is another world. I'm not sure that it's up in the direction above. It is another world. Could be anywhere.
where we are being in the middle, and Utgard being what surrounds the middle. Remember, Utgard means Jotunheim. This means that we, Midgard, the middle,
Jotunheim is Jotunheim and Utgård is Utgård. And they can be at the same place, but they're not the same thing.
aspire to the Aesir, up there. But we're surrounded by Jotun, the beyond the fence. Pretty interesting. Anyway, remember that famous giant I was talking about? The famous giant that everybody loves or hates is Loki.
Okay. There's not one giant living in Asgard. You have to understand what a giant is and what an Aesir is. A Jotnar or giant is a race of creature. Like a kind of creature, like lions, elephants, and wolves and stuff. Aesir is not a race of creature. Aesir is a title that means gods. Odin is a giant. Loki is a giant, yes. Tyr is a giant. There are lots of giants in Asgard. The only thing that separates these Aesir from the Jotnar is the title Aesir, which means god. So there's not one giant living in Asgard, there are lots of giants living in Asgard. And lots of people get this wrong, like Aesir being some kind of race of creature with Jotnar and dwarves and elves and stuff. But Aesir is the only titled people in the Norse mythology. They call themselves the gods. But there are lots of names that mean god, like Tyr means god. So, and Tyr is a giant, or a Jotun, that has become accepted by the other Aesir and therefore became an Aesir, but he is still a Jotun. So there are lots of giants living in Asgard, but the Jotuns that are titled Aesir are among the Aesir, which is not a race, but a title.
You get that right? Don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and share this.
Like, comment, favorite, yeah. So yeah, not all true, as usual. Differences in what, if you don't know what things are, then you're gonna get it wrong. Like this guy. Very Viking-like guy with a beard and long hair. You don't have to have that, just saying. Yeah. But if you don't know what things are, you're gonna get it wrong. So let's go to the next one.
Where you at? Stand with your chieftain.
Okay, first of all there, Ragnar Poopy Pants. This is historically inaccurate. Second of all, unlike you, I'm an actual Norseman. Straight out of Torshavn. Why is it always these little shrimpy boys in tank tops that bark the loudest? Oh yeah, you're a chieftain? Got a nice big clan there, buddy? Yeah, oh, don't you dare attack a chieftain, What are these liberties are gonna take there, bud? The chieftain of the ruined wool. You even call yourself a Viking. What you raiding, bud? Besides your mom's refrigerator, which apparently was empty due to your, your lack of girth. Oh, on to my next point. I'm only half Faroese. The other half is Scottish. My father's in Glasgow. Like you couldn't be more wrong. Not to mention the fact that the majority of people in like northern Scotland are Scandinavian descent, at least a good percentage. Wonder why that is. Maybe it's because the Norsemen sailed there, found fertile soil, and assimilated. Especially in places like, Jarlshof. Making a mockery of your forebears. True Norsemen would never. It's funny how like all these people who turn to Norse paganism, which is an open practice, make it their whole personality, but know absolutely nothing about Norse history. They romanticize it. They make it this whole like crazy fantasy thing. But he's the alpha wolf. Oh, he's alpha. Pray he doesn't have to put you in your place. You see, unlike you, I've done actual warrior shit. Unlike you, I've done real combat with real enemies and not fake ones. Now that I'm retired from the military, I just spend my life swinging a hammer and wishing a motherfucker would. Stand down, pup. A real Norseman wouldn't bring shame like you did. Because that's what you are. You're a real Norseman. How about you stop bastardizing my people's culture? It's an open practice, but it's not a fucking gimmick. You see, where I come from, we have a word for people like this. Akusid. Nice beard, bro.
I agree. This is our culture. This is our way of life. It's not a gimmick. And this is basically why I'm doing this. The whole true Norse thing. There are too many people like this guy making everything a gimmick. They're mixing up comics with reality and just cherry picking what they want, and then interpreting freely for their own personal reasons. But this guy is, he's right. He's right.
Where you at? Stand with your chieftain.
And I'm not gonna say what kusa means.
Okay, first of all there, Ragnar Poopy Pants. This is historically inaccurate.
Okay, historically inaccurate. You're making a mockery of our forefathers. Stand down, pup. A real Norseman wouldn't bring shame like you. I don't know what he did, but this is the only video I've seen with this guy, but... stand down, pup. Okay.
Second of all, unlike you, I'm an actual Norseman. Straight out of the torso. Why is it always these little shrimpy boys in tank tops that bark the loudest? Oh yeah, you're a chieftain? Got a nice big clan there, buddy?
I have to agree with that. There are lots of people that call themselves different things, and of course you want to be a chieftain, you want to be a goldie, you want to be all kinds of things. You're not a chieftain. If you don't have an army, which you don't, you're not a chieftain. If you have a couple of friends that look up to you because they think you know more than them, then it doesn't really make you a chieftain, does it? Goldie, popular word to use, but it doesn't mean what you think it means. And it doesn't make you special to call yourself one either. But yeah.
Oh, don't you dare attack a chieftain! What are these liberties are?
Chieftains attacked each other all the time, and lots of people attacked chieftains all the time. Historically, there was something that happened very often, I would say. So yeah, go ahead and do it. You have to take the consequences for it, but that's a part of it, taking consequences.
Good take there, bud. A chieftain of the ruined wool. You even call yourself a Viking. What you rating, bud?
Yeah, you're not a Viking. There are no Vikings anymore. Viking is also a title, not a kind of a clan or a race or a certain kind of people. And the original Vikings came from the place called Viken. That's basically the bay between modern Norway and modern Sweden, which was in those days Norway. And Vik means bay, so people from the bay are the Vikings. And that's where the original Viking raids went out from. That's why they were called Vikings. And then from that, all kinds of raiders were known as Vikings in the countries they raided. And it doesn't mean warrior, as many people think. It just means people from the Bay Area. That kind of, you have Norway, Sweden, and this ocean here. And this is the bay known as Viken, the Vik, the bay. That's what a Viking is. And if you're born in the US, you're not a Viking. And if you're born in somewhere in east of Sweden, like me, I'm not a Viking either, because I don't come from the Bay Area. If you are born somewhere close to Oslo, maybe you could call yourself a Viking, because that's the part of the Bay Area known as the Vik, where the Vikingar came from. But there are no Vikings anymore, so stop calling yourself Vikings. You're not.
Beside your mom's refrigerator, which apparently was empty due to your, your lack of girth. Oh, on to my next point. I'm only half Faroese. The other half is Scottish. My father's in Glasgow. Like you couldn't be more wrong. Not to mention the fact that the majority of people in northern Scotland are Scandinavian descent, at least a good percentage. Wonder why that is. Maybe it's because the Norsemen sailed there, found fertile soil, and assimilated. Especially in places like, Jarlshof. Making a mockery of your forebears. True Norsemen would never. It's funny how all these people who turn to Norse paganism, which is an open practice, make it their whole personality, but know absolutely nothing about Norse history. They romanticize it. They make it this whole crazy fantasy thing. But he's the alpha wolf. Oh, he's alpha. Pray he doesn't have to put you in your place. You see, unlike you, I've done actual warrior shit. Unlike you, I've done real combat with real enemies and not fake ones. Now that I'm retired from the military, I just spend my life swinging a hammer and wishing a motherfucker would. Stand down, pup. A real Norseman wouldn't bring shame like you did. Because that's what you are. You're a real Norseman. How about you stop bastardizing my people's culture? It's an open practice, but it's not a fucking gimmick. You see where
Yep. True words. I like this guy. He acts like a Norseman. And if he's half Faroese and half Scottish, then yeah, he's basically a Norseman. You don't have to be born here to be Norseman. You have to have it in your ancestry to be a Norseman. You can't be born in some other place of the world and call yourself a Norseman, because then you're not, if you don't have the ancestry. But you can call yourself whatever you want. I don't care. Just don't call yourself a Viking, because you're not a Viking. Yeah, be careful what you say out there, because there's always someone watching. Like this guy, and me, and others. Yeah, let's go on.
What the fuck is Skal? And why, if you're Norse pagan, please stop saying that shit as a greeting. Let me start this by saying, you can say whatever the fuck you want. This is America. I just had a video dealing with that bullshit. But do know that my friends and myself are gonna fucking make fun of you. The word Skal, or skull, common.
The word skål me is not the SKOL. It's an A with a ring or a dot or an apostrophe over it. I see hundreds of comments with skål all over every kind of social media, and it's effing annoying. Stop using that. Stop saying that. It's ridiculous. And you can't even spell it, because some people write skål and some people write skal, and you don't just put something above the A and it makes å. Å is an A with an apostrophe or a ring or a dot over it, not two dots. That's an ä. It's an AE, ä. And that doesn't mean anything. With an O, it doesn't mean anything. It's an old beer brand, by the way. I think maybe from way back, maybe. But stop. I agree with this guy. Just stop. Why? What's with all the skål all over the place? It's skål. What? It means nothing. You know, to all of you outside of Scandinavia who uses this, to 100% of Scandinavians, you look like a moron when you do that. Just know that. So stop, please stop. I agree.
Used in Norse paganism as a toast in a ritualistic fashion or having a celebratory drink. I'm fucking sober. This content was a request from a very good friend of mine in Norway who's a native Icelandic speaker. The word skal is derived from the Old Norse verb skala and literally translates into to bowl. By all means, use it if you're trying to pick up that 7-10 split there, Kingpin. It refers to the ancient practice of communally drinking from a bowl in ritualistic practices or celebrations. Now, some folk tales, and there's not really a lot of evidence, academically or archaeology, on why the practice started, but some folk tales passed down from generation to generation suggest that this practice was done to prevent somebody involved from poisoning people. Because if someone poisoned the drink, there's a real good chance they're not going to drink from it, unless you're the fucking Dread Pirate Roberts. Rodents of unusual sizes. Damn, I love that movie. Stick fucking savage. What the fuck?
Yep, that's where it comes from. In Scandinavia, I think most of the Scandinavian countries, when we're having a feast or something like on Christmas or a birthday or just when you're having a party, people sitting around the table and they say skål, which you can use the English word cheers. That's at least in how it's used, but this guy is right. He's done his homework. It comes from the time when you drank from a bowl, and when everyone drinks from the same bowl, you know that it's not poisoned. That's basically where it comes from. So it doesn't mean everything or anything. It's not a greeting phrase. It's not like a hi or some other kind of phrase to use at any time, especially not in in comments on videos, because that doesn't mean anything. Nowadays, it's mostly used, you raise a glass and say skål. That's more like cheers in English. But this guy is correct about where it comes from. It comes from the time when you had a big bowl that passed around, and everyone drank from it to make sure it wasn't poisoned or bad in some way. So yeah, I agree. Stop it. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. And it's cringe, if anything. Just don't. And the worst thing is, I see this spread from the English-speaking, mostly American users. It spreads to over here in Scandinavia. And that makes it even more stupid, because you know what it is, what it means, and you still use it wrong. So just stop. I agree with this guy. Let's go to the next one. Well, I have skipped a lot of videos about runes because they are so cringe that I just don't want to see them. Let's take one anyway. This should be interesting. And there's music on it. So we have a bind rune. Oh wait, let's go to see the finished. So, first of all, this is not a bind rune. This is a kind of rune or symbol that's based on the Jewish Kabbalistic magic, the Key of Solomon kind of magic. And where are the runes? Let's go through this and see where's the runes. That's not a rune. That's not a rune. Okay, there's the first rune. We have a old D from the old Futhark. And this could be an I. And you also have, if you want to, this separate could be this could be an H, D, it could be an I. What's that? That's nothing. Maybe Thurisas, maybe, but on the other side, I don't know about that. And then comes the Kabbalistic runic medieval kind of thing, and we end off with an L. Okay, so this is, first of all, not a bind rune at all. That's not what a bind rune is. We have an L, that's Laugas, that means leek. That is a medicinal plant that you can use for lots of medicinal purposes. We have an H, that's Hagel, that's basically hail, you know, ice raining down on you, like hailstorm. That's not healing anything, that's a destructive rune, destructive word. Then you have D, that's Dagas, that means day. So hail, leak, day, and if this is supposed to be a Thurs, Thurs is a word that means basically tush. That is a word, could mean giant troll, a troll giant, or something like that. Hard to translate specifically. But I don't see how this could be helping to ease anxiety and bring calmness. You have two chaos runes and one leak rune and one day rune. So what would that mean? This is made up, this is nonsense. If this is how you learn runes on social media, then don't, because this is total absolute nonsense. This is not a bind rune. It's based on a medieval Kabbalistic kind of magic. that is very, very Jewish and accepted into Christianity. Has nothing to do with Norse paganism or paganism whatsoever. The runes used doesn't mean anything, doesn't have anything to do with anxiety or calmness. The only healing could be found in this sign would be the Laukas, the L rune, as leek is a medicinal plant. But this would help you as much as taking a piece of paper and writing medicine, and that would somehow make you better, because that's not how medicine works. So this is what we call BS. So this kind of nonsense doesn't help you in any way, kind, shape or form, because it's nonsense. That's what it is. And that's why I don't go into these rune TikToks, because it's so cringe, basically cringe. So let's go to the next one if we can find one. I'm getting lots of repeats with the same creators, and I don't want to have too many from the same creators, so let's just see if we can find maybe one or two more. This should be interesting. Ragnar Lodbrok did not die in Sweden, first of all, so this should be interesting. What is this? Let's see. And yeah, there's music on this, so... Okay, let's... I don't know, does it say anything else? Translation? They found Ragnar Lodbrok's grave in Sweden. Oh wait. Muntiri Dinsa After. Okay, I think I know this stone. This stone, I have a cheat sheet. I looked it up because I think I knew what stone this was, and this is the... This stone stands in a part of Sweden called Smedsta in Hörlebo, socken and härad. And it says Gudmunter riti stindensa after thudfast fu, then it ends, which means basically Gudmund raised this stone after Torfast, father sin. So this is not Ragnar Lodbrok's gravestone, and the Vikings or the Old Norse didn't have gravestones as such. They had rune stones, which are more like epitaphs or memory stones after someone. They can have died anywhere, and they could still get a graves or a rune stone, like a memorial stone over who they were, how they died, and where they died, and who raised the stone, and information like that. So this one is S20. That should be. That's the runestone's name if you want to look it up yourselves. So why go on TikTok and say that you have found the gravestone of Ragnar Lodbrok when it obviously is easy to check? You see the runes. I tried to read some of it while he was showing it here, but it's not hard to find these. If you know how to find runestones, it's not hard to find. You need a couple of words and then you can find the stone, because we have registers of all found or discovered runestones. They are easily searched. And of course in the comments, what do we find? A lot of skal and skol and skal and all kinds of weird stupid stuff. So this is not the gravestone of Ragnar Lodbrok. This is a regular runestone that a Gudmund raised over his father, Thorfast. Yeah, that's why you shouldn't do your research on social media. Because this is the kind of garbage you find. Someone found a runestone and thought, hey, I'm gonna get 1,000 clicks and likes and shares and stuff on some kind of social media like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever kind of media there is out there. And you get debunked. It takes seconds for someone to debunk you. So this is ridiculous. Let's see if we can find something that's not ridiculous before we end this. Okay, I don't have the patience to search anymore, so this could be interesting enough. Altar cloth to invoke the Norse god Loki. Oh, let's see.
Hey, all you dirty heathens. Now I know why everyone's doing voiceovers on these because the musical selection is absolute dog shit. But I just opened up my TikTok shop. This is the first item in there. It's made out of dead rabbit and it has a binder to invoke the Norse god Loki. So if you want one, go get one.
What? Bind rune to invoke the Norse god Loki. First of all, why do you do it on a dead rabbit? And second of all, why do you have... Oh, it's just a Fudark. Yeah, of course you have to have that. Why not? Whenever you try to invoke something, don't forget to involve the whole alphabet. That's important. And there's an L, there's an O. I guess there's an I inside that. Where's the K? There's no K. Did you put the K in here? So that's a Kaunas. That's the C. That's the K rune from the old Fudark. And I guess maybe here. But that's not really it. So basically, they take a dead rabbit, they make some weird bind rune with the name Loki, cover it or surround it with the whole alphabet, and then I guess Loki turns up in some mysterious way. If you want to invoke Loki, I would suggest go outside and scream his name and he will maybe show up if he wants to. The gods in the Norse belief system don't get evoked by this kind of weird Wiccan witchcraft system with writing their names. And they feel compelled to show up because someone wrote their name, and that's not how it works. You call for them, and if they want to show up, they show up. If they don't want to show up, they don't. Sometimes they show up when you don't want them to show up, and sometimes they don't show up when you want them to show up. And why would you want him to come around? For what reason? What's the purpose? So, yeah, another one of these BS videos. So how many did we find that was actually worth watching? One or two maybe? Yeah, I think it was two. That laughing guy, he was good. And that angry screaming guy, he was also good with the skull message. That was at least true. So what you find on TikTok is mostly crap. So if you want to research Norse paganism, don't go to TikTok. Don't go to the Instagrams, Facebooks and all that crap. So it's mostly crap. There are some good ones. I'm not gonna deny that there are actually some good ones out there. but they kind of disappear in the sea of BS that's everywhere. And that's the message I had for you today, because this is ridiculous. It's stupid. Some people call themselves chiefs, chieftains, go this, and they try to spread their secret knowledge of something they know absolutely nothing about. And when you listen to what they say, you can take it apart piece by piece and end up with basically nothing. So, yeah. Thank you, TikTok, for making my life lose time that I will never get back. And now I've watched it for you, so you don't have to. But if you find anything you would like me to comment on, then I could just comment or email or, yeah, however you feel to contact me. I now, because I had to do this, I made a TikTok account, so I'm there. There's not going to be probably any videos on there, and I don't use it very much because it's not very interesting. I have an Instagram, and I have one of these, what are those called? Discord. You can always contact me there. It doesn't cost anything. I'm not taking money for anything. So if you want to join that Discord and just say something or just communicate, that's fine, do that. But this is the kind of garbage you find out there, and it's not worth it. I would suggest going to a library instead. If you can't go to a library, there are lots of books online that you can read. Talk to people, go outside, explore. Anything is better than watching TikTok. So, yeah, I'm sorry, TikTok. I don't like you very much. But yeah, I hope you got something out of it. And if you see someone else finding Ragnar Lothbroke's gravestone or something else interesting like that, please let me know. I want to see it. And we can pick it apart for you and read what they actually say. But that's all I had. So thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, I would be very happy if you did so. But you don't have to, of course. I'm not in this for clicks and likes and all that. I just want to spread the true information about the true Norse. So that's what I do. And yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.